Good afternoon, students. I would like to take this chance to welcome you back for our today's lesson. We want to proceed from where we stopped last time. Remember last time we had started discussing about internet. So the last time we met, we talked about the definition of internet. Remember we discussed about history of internet. We also talked about ways in which we can be able to connect to internet. Then we talked about the advantages and disadvantages of internet. Mind you, I want to remind all of you that the internet we are talking about, it is a global connection of computers with the purpose of sharing data, information, and other resources. That time I told you that living around the business of people communicating to one another, internet can allow us even to share some other hardware components. We can share other computers, we can share printers, fax machines, and others. So this kind of setup helps management of various hardware components, resources on what we call a global basis. That's what we said. And we discussed about where internet came from, and you remember we talked about requirements for internet connection, that if you say I want to connect to internet, we said you should have some things in place for you to say that you want to connect to internet. We said that you should have an internet service provider. We said you should have a communicating device that can help you to get access to internet connection. We said you should have a software on your computer that can help you to get resources from internet. So still we talked about advantages of internet connection. Say that people enjoy a number of good things because of internet connection. One of those reasons we talked about that internet has what you call a vast storage area that is almost unlimited. You can store your information online and you're able to enjoy that unlimited storage that is available. The internet is accessed 24 hours. So you can be able to do anything you want at any time. So when we move to the next part today, people, I want us to start. We talk about what you call factors that affect the speed of internet connection. Dear students, I want you to know that every day you hear people complaining that internet is not very fast, or you find some other people busy jubilating that our internet is very fast, is very okay. So we have some factors that are there that determine the rate at which internet is able to work at a very fast rate or slow rate. So we want to go through those factors so that when you hear people complaining about internet connection, you should be able to know that maybe these are some of the reasons as to why their internet is very fast, or as to why their internet is very slow. Now the first factor you can be able to see on our screen is computer processor. Every computer has what you call a processor. People, we know very well that a processor is part of the computer that is known as the CPU, the central processing unit, a part that is responsible for managing all activities that a computer is able to do. Now, those processors, they are able to work at a very fast rate or slow rate, depending on which type of processor. So if you are using a computer when it has what you call a Pentium 2, Pentium 3, or Pentium 4, such a processor cannot work at a very fast rate compared to what we call a dual core. Dear students, these days you hear people talking about I-cores. An I-core can be able to work at a very fast rate compared to a dual core machine. So we should know that sometimes you can be experiencing what you call good internet connections or fast internet connections, but you are using a machine that has a processor that is unable to work at a very fast rate. In such a scenario, you are likely to receive what you call slow internet connections, and you start complaining that maybe your computer is very slow, yet other people's computers are very fast. So processor is very important to determine the speed at which a computer is going to work. Distance data travels. People, I want you to know that in the due course, when data is traveling from one point to another, it is able to pass through various hardware components. If, for example, I'm able to connect my computer to a router, and the cables running maybe from the router directly to my machine, and maybe the other person is running a machine that has a cable that is able to run through what you call various routers, chances are very high that the other person is going to experience slow connections. So distance in which your data is able to travel matters a lot, at which you are able to experience whether faster connections or slow connections. That's why there you can be able to say actual internet speed will vary depending on the distance data travels, coupled with how many servers it has to go through. So we need to find out if I'm connecting to internet maybe within a particular organization and it has very many servers that it has to go through. Chances are very high that we are likely to experience some slow connections. Next is what you call heavy traffic on the network. People hear about traffic. Every time when we are there in town, you hear people talking about traffic. We know very well where there is traffic, always speed is limited. You cannot move at a very fast rate. When you go to town and you find jam, it is due to what you call traffic, and people they are unable to move at a very fast rate. So likewise, decide when you try to look at our internet connection, in case you have very many gadgets that are accessing internet from one particular server at a time, you are likely to experience slow connections compared to when you have few gadgets that are accessing internet connection at a time. So how many devices are able to access from a particular server? How many devices are able to access from a particular internet service provider? Such gadgets determine a lot the speed at which the computer is able to work. So people, I want all of you to know that heavy traffic on the network will determine a lot the speed at which you are receiving your internet. People, you know very well that we are in an environment of what you call malware, spyware, and some other viruses or computer viruses. When you are using your computer and it has what you call a computer virus, I want you to know very well that such a computer is unable to work at a very fast rate. And I want all of you to know very well that internet is a very good source of these dangerous programs that attack our computers. So whenever we are connected and we are not protected, be aware that such malware, spyware, and viruses will attack your computer. Hence, or at the end of the day, will make your computer not to work at a very fast rate. So dear students, you should know that you make sure that your computer it is not attacked with any kind of malware, then it will be able to work at a very fast rate. Modem. We know modem. People, you hear about routers and such. all those hardware or networking hardware devices that are used, they have what you call rates at which they are able to operate. If I'm using a modem that is very fast, I'll experience faster connections compared to the other person who's using a modem that is very slow. So speed of the modem matters a lot to determine the rate at which you experience your internet. So when you go to the market to buy one, look for one that is able to work at a very fast rate. These days, people, the next point there you see on our screen is what you call natural conditions. I want all of you to know that natural conditions are very important in determining whether we shall experience faster connections. Compare even living on internet connections. Try to compare to these televisions when they are working. During the time when it's rainy season, we should experience what you call some disturbances to our connections. The seaside also, on the side of internet, side changes, natural conditions in form of maybe rain or heavy rain can lead to what you call slow connections. So they tend to interfere with the signals that move from one point to another, that can lead to what you call slow connections. So stable conditions or natural conditions can lead to faster connections. Next one is what you call modems and routers. I'm talking about modems and routers. They are the commonly known gadgets that are overused in internet connection. They are positioned or they act as receiving points for internet from our service providers. And our gadgets normally they access connections from those devices, routers and modems. When they are fixed in a particular place that is not well raised or that is not raised very well, chances are very high that you experience slow connections or your connections will be disturbed. So people, we should be aware that when we are fixing our routers or our modems should be in a place that's not, or that will not be able to stop them from accessing the signals very well. Don't get a router, don't get a modem and put it under the table and you fix it out to your computer, or you run a cable, or you connect wirelessly to your computer when that router or modem is just under the table. You experience slow connections. So they should always be placed in what you call raised places to have what you call easy access to signals. Next is what you call hardware problems. Sometimes people will experience slow connections or faster connections because of the hardware we are using. Some gadgets are made in such a way that their hardware components cannot function at a fast rate. So in such a scenario, you will experience slow connection. I want all of you to know that when you go to the market to buy a computer or any hardware component that you are going to use to access internet, they vary even in terms of what costs. Why? Some have what you call faster access, others have slower. So you should be aware that hardware also matters a lot. That's why in the beginning I talked about the processor issue, that good processors can get what you call faster connections compared to weak processors. You know very well that the processor is one of the hardware we are talking about. But when we are talking about hardware, it is a broad thing. It involves what you call the switches, what you call the routers, and all those gadgets that help us in internet connection. Software problems. These days you hear about the issue of what you call software versions. You hear about people talking about software updates, and you people you know about them that because we have ever talked about computer software. Now, which kind of software are you using on your computer to access internet services? You are using a web browser that was manufactured some 20 years back, and there is a new browser that is available, so you are not going to experience the same connections. So your computer will turn out to be very slow because of the disturbance that is coming from the software you are using. So people should be aware that which kind of softwares are we using. Any software you are using to deal with things related to internet, make sure that it is up to date. The next thing I want us to talk about is called the memory. In a computer, we have what you call the computer memory or the working memory. That one is known as the random access memory. Dear students, you know very well that the working memory is responsible for storing all those components or for handling all tasks that a computer is able to attend to before they proceed to the central processing unit. I want you to know very well that limited, or when you have size that is not enough on your computer, the computer is able to operate at what you call a slow speed compared to the other one which has more at RAM. So when we go to buy a computer, we should think about RAM. RAM is very important because it matters a lot in all things the computer is able to do. I normally give a very good example of RAM that try to compare a computer to a school. In a school, we have what you call the head teacher. Assume the head teacher is the CPU. The head teacher is responsible for all activities that take place within that particular school. Now, before you see or you are allowed to go and talk to the head teacher, it is a must first talk to the secretary. Assume the secretary has only one seat for a visitor. It means that only one user will be allowed to enter into what you call the teacher's office. Now, if you have what you call more seats there, and very many members can sit around to see the head teacher, then you shall have members flowing at a very fast rate to see the head teacher. The same applies. The secretary of the computer is what you call the random access memory. All things the computer is able to attend to, they have to be or to go through what you call RAM before they proceed to what you call the central processing unit, which we call the head teacher of the computer. So enough memory can lead your computer to work at a very fast rate, and one of the activities you're able to attend to when you are using a computer is connecting to internet. Therefore, you have faster connections. Dear students, the next part there, we are saying there are very many other factors that can lead to what you call slow connections or faster connections when we are using a computer. But we have tried to talk about some of those factors. The next part I want us to talk about is what you call internet services. Dear students, the internet we are talking about, we have what you call a number of services we enjoy because of what you call internet connection. And you students who are there, you know very well that every time you complain you want internet, you want to use internet, there are a good number of services you want to get from internet. We are saying internet services, there are many, but there is a way we group them. We have those services that are in the form of communication. Dear students, we know very well that there are very many ways in which people they are able to communicate on what? Online. People use internet to communicate, but there are different means through which we are able to communicate. We have information retrieval services. Day after day you hear about people downloading, uploading, and so on. We access information from internet, but in different forms. We have what call web services. They are there also, we enjoy them. And also have what you call World Wide Web services. Remember the other teacher, Mr. Kato, talked about World Wide Web. You will see he talked about World Wide Web. here tell you what is it all about. That World Wide Web is all about a collection of various electronic documents that are accessed over the internet from the web servers. So we have many documents we can access. So those services, people you see there, they are many, but I try to group them. Now what we are going to do, we are going to go through them briefly so that you can see those services people enjoy. And we are going to begin with communication. Yes, I want to take you through them. I'm going to list them and see what you call the communication services. The first one there is what you call electronic mail. Yes, electronic. These days is very common. Electronic mail. We all know that an electronic mail is all about the exchange of what you call electronic messages over internet. People, you know, there is time, or you know what you call ordinary mails, where you can write your letter on a paper, put it inside the envelope, then you can deliver it through post or post offices. So this electronic mail came in to replace such. So an electronic email is a communication service. People are able to send messages, to send letters to other members, but in what you call electronic format. We have Telnet. This one is a service that can help you to log on what you call a remote computer. Remote means far machine. You can be able to locate that machine and you're able to use it, but you are doing it online. You have news groups. Those one offer forums for people to discuss about topics and others. Still, we have mailing lists. We have internet telephone, where you are able to make a call online, so you can be able to do it. All those ones are communication services. We have instant messaging. People, you know what you call chat rooms. When you are there on that program, we're able to access now. You can see the chat room down there. It is a communication service, and it is available because of internet connection. People, we have information retrieval services. Those ones, they include Gopher. We have file transfer and some others. I don't want to go through them now, but I just wanted you people to see them when they are listed so that you can know as to why I had to categorize them. We have the web services that allow us to exchange information between applications on the web. These days people develop applications, but they are able to operate using web browsers. So we have web applications that help us to access web services. Then you have the World Wide Web. I think that one people know it very well, that the teacher talked about it. Now I want us to move from there. We go to the major one I want us to talk about, is what you call electronic mail. Electronic mail, it is a communication service that allows users to send and retrieve or receive messages in what you call electronic mode over the internet. Dear students, electronic mail came to replace what you call the ordinary mails, where a user writes a letter on a paper or hard copy format, then you can pack that letter in your envelope, then you're able to send it. So this one came in to replace that. We call them electronic mails. So with electronic mail, you use a computer and what you call the email softwares to create one. Emails, for you to have what you call an email or to send an email message, you should have what you call an email address. So if I want to send an email message, I should have what you call an email address. And the other person I want to receive my message should also have what you call an email address. So what is an email address? That's what you want to talk about. So this is a unique or assigned unique name for the email account. Remember, the email addresses we are talking about, we create them using what you call email softwares. You have what you call email softwares. So you should have an email software for you to create an email account that you use to create or to compose and send. So those ones, they include Gmail. People hear about Gmail. You hear about Yahoo Mail. You hear about webmail. There are many that we can use to create our email accounts. Now the email address we are talking about is always generated in such a format. It is made up of what you call a username. It has what you call the @ symbol and what you call the domain name. So the domain name stands in for the company that is hosting, standing for the server that is hosting your email. A good example, we can say Kawuchi at gmail.com. Now this is the username. This is the @ symbol we are talking about that separates the username from the domain name. So this is the domain name. The domain name has what you call the top level. It has the top level and the low level. So this email is hosted by the server that is under control by Gmail. So this it has what you call the top level domain and low level. The top level defines the type of organization that this account was created for. For example, the .com is for the commercial organizations. We have .ac for academic institution and some others. So this one is an email address. There I'm talking about the key things that, or what you call the components of what you call the email address. So the first one is what you call the username, and we are saying this is a unique combination of characters that identifies a specific user. Then you have said the @ separates the domain name from the username. And you have said the domain, the last part is the domain. And we say that it defines the server that is hosting a particular email. Now let us talk about email message components. We are going to go through the process of creating and managing an email account and so on. But before we reach there, I want us to first see what is the components that make up such. So the email message component has the following components. On the top, it has what you call the email header. The email header defines various features that we are going to see where we are going. It has the first one called from, it has date, to, subject, CC and so on. But I don't want to go through them here now. We are going to see them very well where we are going. So when you try to look at that simple illustration of the email components, you find that it's almost equivalent to our ordinary letters or mails we know of. Now, I want us to first go through the practical part of it before we reach to that point of knowing those things which are there. I want you people to go through them in a practical way. Now, for you to create or to have what you call an email address, first of all, you launch your web browser. Maybe you are using Yahoo, you are using Gmail, you are using Opera, and so on. So you launch your email at your web browser. After launching your web browser, now you have to go to what you call Gmail. So you can click on Gmail. Now, because I want to use Gmail, if I want to use Yahoo, I'll come and type here Yahoo Mail. Then I type there Yahoo Mail. Then it will tell me to the point of login and so on. Then I'll be able to continue with the business. But for now, I want to use Gmail. And then, since this computer has ever been used by some other people, or we have many accounts here I've ever used, but I will go to the concept how to create a new one. So I'll go to use another account there. Then down here I'll go and choose the point for create an account. So when you click on create, they'll ask you want to create which type of account. I want to create for myself or for the business. So let us choose for myself. This we want just to create our personal account. So when you create, the first time it will ask you to what you call the first name. Let us take the assumption that this is my first name. I'm called Kauchi, and my last name I'm called Ali. And that is it. When I'm through with that, the program is inbuilt with the capacity to display for you what you call samples of the way how your account will be. So if you are okay with it, you can go through the list here and choose one you can feel that you can use. Or if you don't want, it allows even to generate one by yourself. So, but when we look through here, there is this one, Kauchi F4. I think that one is very good for us. Let me use that one. Kauchi F4. So it is Kauchi F4 at gmail.com. Kauchi F4. So it is Kauchi F4 at gmail.com. You have heard me talking about the username. This is the username. This is the @ symbol, and this is the domain. So the next part here, it is telling us to come up with the password. We have what you call factors that we need to put to mind when we are generating a good password. Dear students, I want you to know a good password should be a combination of what you call uppercase and lowercase and some other numbers maybe. So we want to think about a password we can use. Let me use a password I can easily remember. I'm going to put one, but let me make the first character capital. Then here they will tell you confirm the password, and I'm confirming the password. Okay. So if you feel you are not sure, you can be able even here to click on it so that it is able to show to you that what you have typed, you can be able to see it very well. You can see my password now. Then, so the first character of mine is small and the rest are what? Are capital. Next. So here they are telling us to come up with what you call the telephone number we can use. Your number. That's what they're asking for. Let me put mine here. Since I'm a Ugandan, so I'm going to use my number. So on that number, that's where they will send for you a code that they are going to use to confirm whether you are not maybe a robot that is trying to create an account. So this is mine, the number I'm using. Okay. Date of birth Now there is a part here, recover email address. In situations that you have an email account or email address that is already in use, you can put it there, so that in case you forget the password of the current one, they can easily send you what you call a backup password in that email. So if you have one, you can put there. Now for me, I don't have one I want to use here. Let me leave it blank. So I'll go to January. I was born January 1st, 2000. Okay. Gender, I'm a male. Okay. Next. So the next part, they are likely to send to me what you call the code. So I'll scroll down here. These are terms. You are required to go through them. There are things that are there that you may not be able to agree with. So if you don't want, you can easily do what? Cancel, and you don't create one with such a software. Let us take an assumption that we have finished to go through them. I'll click on agree. So when I click on agree, yeah, we are waiting a bit so that it is able to load. That if you are creating one, please don't get embarrassed that is overdrain. So speed of internet is very important there in determining whether it is able to attend to it very fast or to be very slow. Dear students, I want to tell you, the other time we had to feed in what you call a telephone number. Sometimes when you are creating these accounts, they send codes on that number that you are required to feed in. And sometimes the program may not be able or may not disturb you in that way. And that it may depend on which kind of software you are using. So mine, it has managed to open in a very good way without wasting our time. When it opens, students, you can be able to see what's there now. We have what you call, the first one is called compose. Are we seeing compose there? When you click on compose, it allows you to access a window where you are going to type the mail you want to send. So that one is called compose. Now I want to send an email to an individual called number S. So where there is 2, that's where we go and type the address, the email address of the other person I want to receive my message at gmail.com. So this is the person I want to receive my what? My email. So we have what you call the subject. The subject's like the title of your what? Your letter. So the major point there is under what you call subject. Now, dear students, time is not a very good factor to our side, but now I've tried to show you how to create what you call an email account. And what is next here, we are going to go through the use of those features you see inside, so that when you create one, you should be able to use all those inbuilt features very well. So back here to our one, I'm here now to tell you that the email you are the email message you want to send is made up of various components, and it has what you call the first component called the email header. The email header has the following. It has what you call the from, date, to, subject, and so on. So I want us to go through them very fast within the remaining few minutes. The first one, from, that indicates it indicates the sender's address where the message is coming from. So that one is called what? From. So when you go there, you find that we have what you call date, that indicates the exact date when the message was what? Was sent. 2. It allows you to type, or it activates, or it displays for us the field where we type the address of the other person we want to receive our message. So that one is called 2. So that's where you go and type the message. We have subject. People have told you subject. The subject field indicates the purpose of the email. So it lists the key word, the key statement for that particular email. It should be able to portray very good meaning that even if somebody reads through it very fast, can easily judge very fast what is inside that mail. The next one is called CC, stands for carbon copy. The carbon copy, I want to send an email message to 10 members. I want those members to know that I have sent the message to all of them. So I'll just go where there is CC. I go where there is CC and type their email addresses. If you are sending to one individual, you type it under what? 2. I want to send it to 10 members. I want all those members to know that they have received the same message. I will go and type their addresses where there is what? CC. I'll go and say maybe I want serial number s@gmail.com. Then I want Kabuye, comma, So you press, for you to go to the next one, simple. Just press what? The backspace key to just know that that's the end of that one. Then you continue. Maybe kedeo@gmail.com. Then you continue. So you go on typing all the email addresses of those members you want to receive the very message you are going to send. So those members, they will be able to receive that message, and all of them, they will be able to know that they have received the same message. Now I don't want to go back there now. I want you first look at this one. You have another one called the BCC, stands for blind carbon copy. I want to send a message to 100 all members that are around 20, and I don't want them to know that they have received the same message. I will go where there is BCC. That's where I will type their email addresses. Okay, then when we go back here, so that's why we say CC stands for carbon copy. It includes those recipient addresses whom we want to receive the same message and not acknowledged. And acknowledged. And they are able to know that they have received the same message. You normally see on notice boards, they can write a certain information, and you normally see them writing CC, then they put those offices that they have received that very information. So the same thing applies here. BCC, I've told you, stands for blind carbon copy, and this one I've said we use it when you want to send a message to multiple individuals without acknowledging them that they have received the same message. We use what you call BCC. Simple, just go click on BCC, start typing the email addresses of those members, then you send a message. Such people or such members will be able to receive that message, and they will not be able to understand that they have received the same message. Other features we have what you call compose. Dear student, you saw me using what you call compose. I told you compose is used to activate the window where we are able to type our message. So the compose feature, the moment I want to send a message, that's where I will go and click on. Then you have the spam. The spam is used to store what you call uncalled for messages. There are some email messages you receive, and those messages you don't know where they are coming from. Such messages, they are normally stored in what you call spamming messages. You have draft. Even when we are using our phones, people, we know what you call draft. Draft helps us to store composed mail messages, but not what? Send. So you can compose a message and you are able to send that what? Message. All those messages are stored in what you call what? Draft. The next part is signature. That's the last part of our what? Our email. But before we go to the advantages, I want to first go back a bit there so that we try to see some other features maybe I've not listed there. And we have some other features here. You can be able to see when I click on more and scroll down there, we have chat, schedule, spam. I've talked about spam. We have trash. All the messages we delete, they go to what you call what? Trash. Then this side we have what you call send. I'm through with typing my message. Assume this is the main heading of my letter. It is called lesson 1. And here maybe I want to inform my students. Dear students, comma, because of time, I'm not going to type some other information down there. Let us try to manage time. So you are through with typing everything here you want to send. So you go where there is send, then you click on it, then you're able to what? Your message will be able to go to the email addresses you listed above. Down here we also have another feature called the attachment. Attachment helps us to accompany files to our mail. There are some video files I want to attach. There are some photos, some other documents I would like, or I want to go with my mail address. So I can be able to go there. I click on it. So when you click on it, it is able to take you to the computer. Then you're able to look for one file. Maybe you want to accompany. Maybe it's that one. When I click on it, then I'll come and click on what? Open. Now here, it will be able to upload. So it is now uploaded, and when I'm through, I can send, and that information or that document will be able to go to the user, and those people whom I want to receive my message, they'll be able even to receive that document. So we have some other features here. We have the emoji. We have you may need to use some of them, so you can be able to do it. Okay. We are trying to finalize. I'm saying time is not a good factor to our side. Let us briefly, people, talk about advantages of using emails. Members, if you have any question, you can be able to raise your question. We shall be able to go through it before we end our session. The advantages, they say one, emails are easy to use. These electronic emails we are talking about, they are very easy to use because the softwares that help us to create email account, they are very easy. They are inbuilt with components that are user friendly. That's why I was able to create an email address very fast here without wasting time. You can find that even if you are not very well conversant with computer, but after getting that knowledge of it, you can be able to create one. We are saying emails support what you call sending messages with what you call attachments. You can be able to accompany some other documents to your email message. So there is no business of complaining that maybe I will not be able to send my photo, I will not be able to send some other work and so on. No, you can attach and things are able to go. Emails are very fast in terms of speed. The time you can waste to move or to send your letter through post offices, it's not very easy and you take a lot of time. But here, just composing and just click on send, within just a few seconds the other person is able to receive that message. The next point there, they say it is easy to prioritize. You can easily go through your messages and select the few you want to go through, and even those ones you don't want to use, you can easily delete them. So these accounts, they can allow us to easily control them very fast. Emails can easily be sent to a good number of individuals at the same time. I have demonstrated how to use what you call the CC and BCC, and I have told you BCC and CC help us to send our mail to a number of individuals, and we're able to do it very fast. Some emails go with what you call hyperlinks that can help us to go to some other pages easily. Somebody can be able to send you a message with what you call an hyperlink. The moment you open your email, then you can easily click on that link and you're able to go to another page. So the allows us easy to navigate over the network. The next one I want us to talk about is here for reference. When they need to go through some information that is available on your email, you can easily go through it. In case there is something you want to refer to, maybe a message that was sent to you some time back, you can easily go and refer to that work. Unless we delete those messages, they are there throughout until we delete them and they disappear. Emails are environmental friendly people. Dear students, I want you to know that the issue of using postal mails, it leads to what you call environmental pollution, because we use a number of papers. But here, such a business is not there, hence being environmental friendly. Flexibility in time of opening the email. You are able to open your email account and see what's there from anywhere, so long as you have what you call internet connection and the gadget can access internet. So there's no business that maybe my book is available in what you call, I left my book at home. No. So long as you have the device that can be able to connect to internet and you have the software, you can be able to access your information. So there is flexibility in opening and what you call accessing information. Messages, they remain permanent for future use. Information that we receive, that we send to other members, remains there until you are able to remove it. So permanent storage for information is very good. It is inbuilt with the capability to use different colors you can be able to make your work look very good. So, which is very hard when we are dealing with these other ordinary mails. Advert, I want to advertise my business. These days people overuse mails to advertise their what? Their products. So we can easily do what? Advertise through of what you call emails. You can just get email addresses of different members and you send a message to all of them advertising your product. So we can easily do it very fast. Dear students, as we are winding up, I want us to know that the number of advantages we can easily enjoy when we use what we call emails compared to other ordinary what? Mails. So we are going to stop there for today. When we meet again, we shall continue and talk about the disadvantages, and shall also be able to go through some of the questions about what we call internet, which we are talking about. I want you to go through the notes. Those notes, there are some work there at the end that has some questions. Please try to go through those questions so that you can be well equipped with the way how we can answer questions about this topic. So until we meet again, I wish you a good day.